So this customer is called us because their very old natural draft furnace had died for the pilot light. They had gone through and checked everything that they needed to check. The customer originally smelled gas coming out, so turn some light so you can see that the natural draft has a different type of system. It doesn't have an inducer motor, and it just vents up through that vent. There's the other side of the heat exchanger. So everything pretty much, the gas goes in there. These are your burners. The gas will come through here, be lit on the other side of this panel here, and the flames will shoot up. All the gas and the carbon monoxide and burn off will go up, come out through those there, and then just vent out naturally that way. So you still have a blower motor and everything, but it is on the, actually, yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, so your blower motor is going to be up in this panel here. The heating aspect is on the bottom and whatnot. So they are looking at just having their pilot light relighted if we can. Otherwise, we are going to be looking at furnace replacement. So I've already called for a sales guy, or what we call them project managers, comfort advisors, however you want to look at it. I've already had one of their guys, I've already called to have one of them come out and take a look at everything. That is about as extensive as your board needs to be. So I want to say this is probably from the thermostat. It's power on, and because it goes through the hole there. And then the other one is for power. Up pops there. You got your transformer. You got a timer of some sort there. And we're looking at a, this is not going to tell me how old it is. I'll have to contact the vendor, our local vendor for American Standard, and see what the age of the equipment is, but I know that it's definitely old. Natural vent or natural draft, as they're also called, natural draft furnaces were most popular in the 80s, and they stopped before the 90s were even a thing. So let's figure out how we could get this going. All right, so as you can see, the blower motor is located in the top section. We've got two 1-inch filters here. It's odd that this is the setup, but again, these weren't very popular types of equipment back in the day. So, and then we've got the blower motor here. If we ever have to do some cleaning or replacement of the motor or anything like that, we are going to have to move this out, remove some of the venting, and remove this panel as well. Looks like we may even have to move that because it is on the slides for the motor, possibly. We got a sensor back there as well. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's that. So this has nothing to do with what the customer was calling for, but I am still going to recommend some sort of cleaning. As you can see, it's pretty freaking dirty just there. Just with that, you can see how dirty it is. I mean, we're looking at a good chunk of dirt right there. So, yep, so that's what I'm going to recommend. And then there's another panel here we're going to remove, which we don't come across these very often, so it might be a little difficult to do this with one hand, but we can possibly take it off. So I'm gonna put my phone down and try to figure out this. All right, so it pretty much turns out this panel is just covering that venting that we saw earlier. So there's really nothing that I can do with that one. So what we're gonna do is pretty much figure out exactly what we're being called here for. Customer said he did turn the gas off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it on to pilot and pretty much figure this out and get everything lit as much as possible. So as you can see, I've got a camera coming up in here too. I want to take a look at the heat exchanger and kind of see how well it looks inside and try to go from there. Obviously this camera is the better way to figure that out, and with only one hand it's kind of difficult to figure this out. So we'll take some pictures and I'll go through everything. All right, so as you can see, we've got so that was the exhaust flue. That's that guy right there. We can see some rust on the inside of that. Sorry, the quality isn't great, but that is inside one of the heat exchanger tubes up here. One of those guys. This is the other one. So we got some calcification of the natural gas here. That doesn't necessarily mean anything bad at this point in time, but it can lead to blockages in if that stuff decides to fall down. It can create blockages in the burners, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Then going forward, there's your actual burners assembly right there. So all the flames come out there and just natural draft everything up through the vents. That's the backside of one of the actual heat exchanger tubes down here on this end. I believe it's that far side over there. So we've got some rust and some soot buildup, which isn't a good thing either. And it just continues going through. That wasn't the best. We got a lot of buildup down here. That stuff is carbonic acid, which is when carbon monoxide and moisture come into contact with each other and create a white powder, along with any other buildup and situations from the roof. A lot of that is roof material as well. And then here's some more pictures, and that's from a different job, but that's that. Okay, so as you can see, this is pulled back that metal cover, this one here, and I moved it back. We've got it still in the off position, which is fine. There we go. Now it's in the off position technically. So you can see all that carbonic acid buildup back there. Let me zoom in a little bit. All that buildup back there, and over on the other one, that's not good at all. Same thing with all that. So it's not necessarily going to cause any issues right now, but what I've got to do is I've got to undo this whole assembly and pull this out. It looks like it's broken over here, but I could be wrong. So get that all pulled out and figure it out. All right, so I'm back at the van. You guys can see that is the burner assembly when it comes to the ignition portion. So the gas comes out of this, you get electrical spark coming out of this, and then that ignites everything and produces the heat, produces the flames. What we're gonna try to do is, I'm thinking that this is bad. There's possibly blockage inside this valve here. There's a lot of soot buildup on here anyway, but it also might be the igniter as well. We're gonna kind of take this apart, double check the valve, make sure everything is good over there. If it's not, it may be the valve may have just died. It was a year ago that these people took a look at this assembly and this setup, so it's very possible that we may have to try to replace this. If we can't get the parts, then we have to replace the furnace. So that's worst case. One of the things you got to always worry about is the freaking screws. You put them on the ground, you kneel on them on accident. It always freaking hurts, especially when it's below 40 outside. So I've got that looks like that's some sort of vent there, or an adjustment piece there, but I'm not 100% sure. This is, I'd already taken this out, but I thought it was something different. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this as well. Like I said, the assembly is back at the van, so I can go clean it. But if we can get, I'll verify there's something in here for me to adjust, which it doesn't seem like there is, which that doesn't make any sense to me, but oh, that's the car. It smells like gas coming out of there. It doesn't smell like gas coming out of here. So again, it might be this guy here. Let me turn this on. Gas is on here. I can smell the gas. This is your reset there. So yeah, it looks like we are not getting anything. I'm thinking it's the regulator.